What's up, guys? I'm Emerald Marie, and be sure to check us out on the web at realfansrealtalk.com.
This is your African King of Comedy, Michael Blackson. You watching Real Fans Real Talk. Get real with it, my son.
Live from the can. Vibe the king.
This is Real Fans Real Talk. Real fans, real talk. We as real as you thought.
I think we already know who's going number one. I don't think there's much intrigue there.
I was hearing that the Dolphins were trying to get to the number one spot, but you think they didn't have the capital, or just didn't want to give it up?
They do, but the Bengals aren't going to give up that pick. They've already said, like, you'd have to give up the house. The Dolphins would have to give up every pick in this draft, plus their first, second, and third pick in the next draft at this point for the Bengals to give up that number one overall pick. Because, again, you're talking about a franchise-changing quarterback in Joe Burrow, or at least that's what the projections are. I mean, he damn near had a perfect season this year. Broke a whole lot of records. So when a guy like that comes along, you got to go with that. Again, I'm more of a Tua guy, but I know the injuries are going to hold him back. But I do believe we wouldn't know who the number one pick would be in this draft if Tua didn't get hurt. If Tua wasn't injured this past season, we wouldn't know who's going to be the number one pick in the draft. Like right now, we know it's Joe Burrow, and that's it. If Tua doesn't get hurt, I think this thing is a lot closer, and it'll go down to the wire.
Yeah, I don't even think it was about the draft capital. I just think the Bengals, they knew he was their guy. He's a hometown kid. He's from Ohio, hometown kid. He also was working out with Carson Palmer's brother, and his brother has ties to the organization. So I think secretly the organization was kind of keeping tabs. Unless he would have openly come out and say, I want no parts of Cincinnati, they were going to take him. And as Tripp said,
they still might have taken him.
No. I think if he would have put up a big enough stink, maybe they would have explored swapping picks with someone else. Obviously, similar to Eli and the Phillip Rivers trade. But he's the hometown kid, and if unless he makes a big stink about coming there, you got to draft him. You got to take him. If Tua is completely healthy, it does add a different dynamic to who the number one pick would be, especially now that we're in quarantine and we know that these guys didn't get to properly work out for these teams. If Tua was healthy, it would have been interesting to figure out who they liked more, who they valued a little bit more. But
we don't have to wait any longer because the pick is officially in.
Okay, here we go. With the first pick in the 2020 draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Joe Burrow, quarterback, LSU.
And there you see Joe with mom and dad, and you have to wonder what's going through his mind right now. Remember, when he entered the transfer portal, he said one more time he wanted to go to Nebraska, and Scott Frost, the coach, said, is he better than what we got? The answer is yes.
I think the Cincinnati Bengals are getting a player that if they will take some of the same concepts that Joe Brady brought down to LSU, if they will have some of those same concepts in Cincinnati, you will see the same thing from Joe Burrow, a quarterback that can lead your football team from a talent standpoint, and he will make sure that you guys go where you want to go, which is to the promised land.
Hey, Boog, a lot of people have asked me, why did he make that big transition from 18 to 19? It wasn't just the system. He got there late before that 18 season, didn't get a chance to get comfortable, and he had a little rust. He hadn't played a lot of football in 3 years. But what we saw this year was
best quarterback in the draft. If he lives up to that, to the projections, he's going to be a franchise quarterback. He's going to help them right away. Definitely going to be an upgrade from what they had last year, or last 10 years with Andy Dalton. So and they already, they have AJ Green. I know he was hurt last season, but they got him franchise tag, so he'll be there. Ross should be coming back from injury. They got Joe Mixon running the football, so at least he's going in there with a couple of weapons, so it won't be too bad on him. I think they still going to need to shore up that offensive line, I guess, with whatever picks they have left. But they got the guy.
They got the offensive tackle from last year got hurt, right?
They drafted O-line last year.
Yeah.
But he didn't. And he's going to a situation where they still got weapons. Again, unless they decide to trade AJ Green, they still got Tyler Boyd. They got Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
So he's not going to a terrible situation. They've got some weapons. Um, I'm not quick to say he's going to be better than Andy Dalton. I think Andy Dalton gets a bad rap. Andy Dalton played really well for that organization. He led them to several playoff appearances. Granted, they weren't able to win, but I don't want to knock what Andy Dalton did there either, because Andy Dalton was pretty good for that team for a number of years. But Joe Burrow, he's the future now.
Yeah. They may trade him. They may wind up trading Andy Dalton. Who knows what they're gonna do? But they got their guy. So congrats to the Bengals. Listen, man, when you get that number one pick in the draft, you got to go with the best player, and that's what they got. They got Joe Burrow. So congrats to him. There's a couple of quarterbacks that we spoke about that are still out there as far as free agents. One in particular I mentioned earlier, Cam Newton. Where do you guys think Cam Newton lands?
I thought he was going to land in New England. I like the spot, like you guys were talking about earlier. I like New England from him, so I think he'll land in New England.
What you think, Eric?
Yeah, I had posted a short blog about it. I do think New England is an ideal landing spot for him. I think Billard and Josh McDaniels should get really creative with him. But there is, I think the Chargers could be a sneaky pick for him too, because the Chargers got a lot of weapons. Tyrod Taylor isn't the future there. If the Chargers don't take a quarterback with their first-round pick today, I would not be surprised if Cam Newton is their target moving forward. And he was also recently seen working out with Tyrod Taylor after he was released by the Panthers. So I think the Chargers would be a great spot for him. Anthony Lynn has job security there. They've got a lot of weapons at receiver. Austin Eckler developed into a very good running back this year. They've got a good team, and they got a really good defense. So Cam wouldn't be expected to go there and carry the team the way he did in Carolina. He could come in and just be a quality quarterback, and that team would easily make the playoffs.
Yeah. So we got to wait and see officially where he's going to go. But I mean, either one of those places. I mean, he'll probably get a little bit more money going to the Chargers, but going to the Patriots, he'll have a better chance of getting to a Super Bowl, or getting to his second Super Bowl, and even winning one, just because that defense is so amazing. And I'm sure they'll address whatever offensive weapons they'll need throughout the draft to help Cam Newton out. But I mean, MVP, in this league before, made it to a Super Bowl. One of the better quarterbacks, in this league when he's healthy. So either way, either one of those two teams. But I would love to see it with the Patriots. Just because, I want to see New England having a black quarterback. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Now, as far as for team purposes, I don't want them to do too good, but
I would like to see Cam just get with a really good supporting cast. With the Panthers for so long, we saw him have to carry that team and that organization. Even when they let Steve Smith go, and he still found a way to have an MVP season and take him to a Super Bowl. I think he's at a point. His body's banged up. He needs to be with a team that has better pieces around him, so that he can just really be Cam Newton, as opposed to I need to carry this thing all the time. And he played hurt for a while with Carolina, so it would be good to see him just get healthy and show off the skills that we know he has, man. If he's completely healthy, go ahead and go start in New England or San Diego. If you're not completely healthy, there's nothing wrong with taking a year to be a backup somewhere. Why not be a backup in Pittsburgh for a year if you're not completely healthy? If you're not completely healthy, you can go to Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin, those guys will get you ready to go the moment that Ben steps to the side.
That actually might be really good for him as well. Because again, I mean, how many more years do we really think Ben Roethlisberger got left in him? So
right.
I wouldn't mind seeing that one either. I do want to see him start just because I'm a Cam Newton fan. He did some great things in this league. Unfortunately, injuries, took a toll on him. But if he's healthy again, I think he has a bounce back season.
There were talks about him possibly. When you think about him in Denver with the Broncos.
What I thought they were trying to bring the kid was Drew Lock on a little bit, but like the fire underneath him.
Yeah, I don't think they would. Again, Drew Lock is their guy. He played well for them at the end of the season. And I wouldn't even imagine them trying to disrupt that. Not to say that Cam is a bad locker room guy, but just the fact that you got the young guy who you're grooming. They brought in Melvin Gordon. They expected to target a receiver in this draft. It looks like they're going young with their offense. And if I'm Cam, I don't think that's the best landing spot. I don't want to go to a situation where I'm constantly looking over my shoulder, knowing that this isn't my job long term. I would prefer to go somewhere that I know this is going to be my job for the next few years. New England provides that. San Diego provides that. And like I said, if he goes back up then for a year, at least he would know, hey, it's my job once he steps to the side. But going to Denver, you're almost a placeholder. You're just there until they're ready to hand it over to Drew Lock.
Yeah,
exactly. I want to say this because as I'm watching this on the screen while we're recording right now, and we spoke about this a little bit on the podcast yesterday. I feel a little bad for the guys that are in the draft right now, just because they miss out on this moment, which is this is one of the biggest moments in your life, being in that room for the NFL draft and hearing the guys call your name and you've been drafted by whatever team. They got Chase Young on the screen right now. Well, now they got the Redskins on the screen, but Chase Young was just up there, and it's just like, dang, man, you with your family, so that's an amazing thing. Either way, you made it to the league, but it does suck that you missed this moment.
Yeah, the opportunity, a lot of these guys from, when they were very young, just the thought of walking across the stage, putting a hat on, grabbing a jersey, that gets robbed from them. And hopefully the quarantine doesn't affect their rookie seasons to the point where they miss out on those off-season workouts and the ability to just prepare for that next phase in their career.
Yeah, and it is official, guys, for you guys at home. Chase Young is a member of that Washington Redskins front four now.
With the second pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Washington Redskins select Chase Young, defensive end, Ohio State. Congratulations, Chase.
And they are going to be a problem for some years to come.
Listen, the Redskins got a good one, man. And with him, with Montez Sweat, with Jonathan Allen, they are building something on that front four that is very, very good. They've spent a lot of draft capital on the D-line and being able to get to the quarterback. Daniel Jones, Carson Wentz, Dak Prescott, be on guard. Be on guard.
And I didn't realize he's from the area as well.
Yeah, he's from the area. Yep.
Yeah, he's from Maryland. So that, what? I'm sure he's really happy about that. Anytime, you get a chance to go to the team that's, from your area, or at least in the state, in the vicinity, I'm sure he's happy about that. And again, listen, you got some good brothers that's going to be lined up next to you. A lot of fast, hard hitters on that defensive line. And, man, shout out to the Redskins. They definitely got the best player in this draft.
So what do you think about the defense in fantasy? Yep, they're going to be up there?
Well, their secondary is still suspect, so
yeah,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, they got to tighten up their secondary.
Yeah, but they'll definitely have a lot of sacks though. They'll get to the quarterback a lot with that defensive line. I'm pretty sure with their later picks in the draft, they'll pick up a couple of corners to try to help out. But that front four is going to be something special with this kid out there.
Is a homeboy from the Giants, the safety? He's still over there in Washington, right? Collins, is he over there?
Yeah, Landon Collins.
Yeah, Landon.
Landon Collins. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but they still got to
show
up their
cornerback
position.
They got a couple other pieces that they're gonna need that to add in.
Jay, listen, when you got a pass rush that can wreak havoc, though, it makes life easier on your secondary. You don't need lockdown. Now you don't need lockdown corners. Now you just need capable corners, because you can get to the quarterback so fast. And if you're gonna double team Chase Young, then Jonathan Allen's gonna cause havoc in the inside, and Montez Sweat's coming off the other end. And then, God forbid,
and they both
blitzing
fast
and doing different things. Right. You start blitzing and doing other things. Ron Rivera, this is what he likes. He likes a defense that can cause havoc. We talked about earlier when, Cam going to the Super Bowl, that was Ron Rivera's team, that defense. They could cause havoc. When they get to the quarterback, he can find ways to coach it up.
They just needed a couple of offensive weapons for Cam. That's where they messed up. They had defense was special because at that point they had Norman was still out there, Kuechly, who just retired as well. But he's building something special with his defense, and I'm sure he's gonna pick the right corner or two to step in and help out with that secondary.
Do you think Detroit keeps a pick? You think Detroit keeps a pick, or they're trading it?
I think unless they get blown away, they keep the pick. I've been going back and forth on it. I think they should really explore trading the pick because they're not obviously. I don't think they're in the market for Tua. I also think that Matt Patricia's kind of coaching for his job this year as well, so he wants to win ball games. So I'm sure he would love to add more assets and take some guys later in the draft as opposed to bringing in a guy now who's going to be expected to play from day one.
Yeah,
but this to me, this is where the draft starts.
Yeah. Because we knew though number 1 and 2 weren't going to change. We knew it was going to go Joe Burrow and then Chase Young. But again, now Detroit is not taking a quarterback, so it may suit them to listen to those offers. Honestly, same thing with the Giants too. They might want to field a couple of orders in that offers in that position as well, just because they're not taking a quarterback either, and the guys that they want will still be available. If they go too far back, not. But as far as if they're going back just 2 or 3 picks, they'll still get the guys that they're looking at right now.
It looks like the pick is in. We're gonna see.
They got him compared to Jadeveon Clowney, Chase Young.
Yeah. Well, listen, can't go wrong with that one. He ain't signed yet, but there we go.
With the 3rd pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Jeff Okudah, defensive back, Ohio State.
And there you see the reaction in Grand Prairie, Texas, where Jeff Okudah is from. The cornerback goes off the board. Here's what's really interesting. The top 3 picks in this draft at one time or another all played at Ohio State. What do you like most about what you see in Okudah's game?
They took him, Okudah. They took Okudah. Yeah, I knew it. I didn't think they were going to, take anybody else because, again, they traded Darius Slay, so they needed that cornerback to come in and replace that. This is the best cornerback in the draft right here. So congrats again to those guys.
Yeah, and we said that. We said Okudah was compared to Gilmore, and guess what? Matt Patricia was in New England, and he coached up Gilmore, so he knew what he needed there. It makes sense for them, I still think that again the Lions still have a lot of holes to fill, but
that's a big help though.
He fits in perfectly there. Yeah, if it fits in perfectly, he's a guy who's ready made to play. I believe he was a 2-time All-American. Ohio State goes back to back. Their defensive end and their cornerback.
And he's the best coverage cornerback in this draft as well. So,
and all 3 of these guys were all on Ohio State at the same time.
There you go. So they having a nice little run right now.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to this, man. Oh man, Madden's gonna be crazy.
Now Trip is on you. Now you about 7.5 away.
Come on, man.
I don't trust Gettleman. I don't know.
I know the pressure right now, bro. Oh my goodness. I hope they please. All right, I'm crossing my fingers right now.
I was critical. I'm be honest. I was critical of Gettleman last year. We talked about it. I thought that Daniel Jones was not a bad player, but a bad pick. The value wasn't good for where you guys selected him. You could have got him later. Dexter Lawrence, the lineman that you guys picked up, started coming on as the season went on. He got a little better. But I will give Gettleman credit because he got off of the Odell Beckham train at the perfect time, right? You guys were able to acquire a first-round pick. You got Jabril Peppers. So he moved on from that at the right time. Let's see what you guys take here.
I think
the draft is playing out.
They're gonna go Tristan Wirth, I think.
Oh my goodness! Hold on, can you stop? I don't even think he's the best tackle in this draft, man.
Not even Willis. He said Tristan Wirfs.
Exactly. Don't do this to me, man. Listen, I'm talking to the football gods right now. I need y'all to bring Simmons to the Giants, please. Don't let me suffer like this, man.
If they trade back a few spots, Would you be okay with that?
Yes, I would be okay with that, just because.
Okay.
Again, I know. It depends on who they trading with. If we're talking about a trade with the Chargers, then yeah, because again, they'll still be able to get Simmons. I mean, if they take Willis, I'm not gonna be upset. I want Simmons, but you know what I'm saying. But again, you got to have that protection for Daniel Jones. Eli suffered a whole lot of years, without having a good offensive
Daniel
line,
Jones
and
is
I don't want
mobile.
that for him. He is mobile, but you can still get hit if you ain't got a good offensive line.
No, you still get hit. I just don't. I wouldn't put the same emphasis on it if we were talking about immobile quarterback who had to stand in the pocket and throw the ball.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I got
the
you.
Seahawks have addressed the Seahawks have addressed their offensive line, in a different way. They haven't done it through the draft. They've mainly drafted skill positions and defensive players, and they've said, look, Russell Wilson can move around, so we don't need to invest top 10 picks on O linemen.
Yeah.
We can find O linemen in the second, third round. We can find O linemen coming out of out of free agency. So the Giants, that might be their approach too. They may say, look, Daniel Jones is mobile enough where we don't need to invest a number 4 pick. Number 4 pick is high. When the coach took Quentin Nelson, I felt the same way. I felt if we've taken him at this spot and we took him at 6, if we were taking him at 6, he better be a difference maker. Now, he's been a difference maker.
Yeah. Yeah, listen.
You're taking a guy at number 4, he better be a difference maker. He better be ready to start day 1.
That's why I want Simmons at that pick. I really hope they get this thing right, man, because we need that, man. We got to change the culture, man. And I just think, again, him with Martinez out there, who led the league in tackles like 2 out of the last 3 years, that is
Blake
going
Martinez
to be
is a very good
problem. Yeah, so
Blake Martinez is a very good pickup for you guys.
Hopefully they get this one right. If they, like I said, again, if they do trade back, I'm okay with it as long as they can still get Simmons. But we got
right. So that was going to be my next question. You said you're okay with them trading back. If they trade back, how far back? Are we talking 9th pick to Jacksonville? Like you swap with Jacksonville?
It depends on what they get in the trade, because if they get in what's the lineman from Jacksonville. So if it's a situation where they get the Jaguars pick and the defensive lineman.
Yeah, I don't think you're getting both of those.
Listen, I'm the GM here. I'm telling you, the only way I'm giving up that pick to the Jaguars is if I'm getting him as a part of that deal. That's me. That's what I would do.
If the Jaguars say, look, we'll swap you our 9th pick this year for your 4th pick, and we'll throw you 2 second-round picks next year, that's not enough?
Hell no, that's not enough. Are you crazy? Nah, bro. If they do that, I'm disowning the Giants, man. It's gonna be strictly Ravens. The Giants getting cut off until Giants out of there.
If the Giants get under 1 minute before they decide to pick, I'm gonna assume that they weren't sure who they wanted, and they're probably trading. They're at 3 minutes right now. So if they get under 1 minute and the pick's still not in, I'm gonna assume that they were unsure who they wanted, and they're probably trading the pick. Because you would assume all the talk that I've heard all week has been that teams pretty much know who they want, and they're not really trading on the day of unless they get blown away with something.
Well, that's the thing. So it could be a situation where
all
they
these teams aren't in the same room.
Yeah, well, I'm saying it could be a situation where they do know what they want, but they're getting fielded with trade offers. So as opposed to just saying, all right, we're going to take this. Let me hear, all right, what you got to offer? And then they'll go back and either make the pick or make a trade. I would say, I would love for them to try to, check the trade for Trent Williams with the Redskins, but I know it ain't gonna happen because they're not going to trade in the division without bleeding the Giants for the returns.
This is Deion Grant from the New York Giants, Super Bowl champ, and you're watching Real Fans, Real Talk.
Live from the can. Vibe the can.
This is Real Fans, Real Talk. Real fans, real talk. We as real as you thought.